Hello, namaste everyone. Good evening.
Pooja, please play the video. You're on different screen.
Shall I start, Anjali?
1 minute, huh? Give me a minute. I'm just playing.
Sure.
Simran, you can start. I'll play the video later.
No, 1 minute. Give me a minute. Just it's ready.
Sir, what is awareness?
Awareness is the function of consciousness. When you are conscious, you are aware. Consciousness is like the sun. Awareness is like sunlight. Sunlight comes from the sun. So awareness comes from the consciousness. The more conscious you are, the more aware you are. The bigger sun you are, the more sunlight you have. Awareness is a function of consciousness.
When we improve our awareness?
Meditation. For all your questions, my answer is meditation. What to do? I don't have any other answer.
What is soul path and what is ego path?
Ego path is I want to be honored by everybody. That is ego path. Soul path is I want to be equal to everybody. Everybody is equal to me is soul path. I am VIP is ego path. I am very important person. That is ego path. I am the same person as anybody else. Everybody is equal to me. I am equal to everybody else. That is soul path. I am more important than you, ego path. You are as important as me, soul path.
Such wonderful wisdom by Patriji. Namaste everyone. Good evening and good morning to all those who are joining us from West. My dear friends and masters, welcome to today's masterclass on Saturday. Today's masterclass is on conflict resolution using non-violent communication. It's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Kiran Anumalasetty, sir. Welcome, sir. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste,
Uh,
Simran.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and to share your wisdom with us. Conflict resolution topic is very important because every one of us, face conflicts. Either it's in our personal lives, either it's in the workplaces. How we can communicate with greater awareness, with more empathy matters a lot. So thank you for going to take today's session. So before we begin, I'll just take a short, quick intro of Kiran sir. Kiran sir is a therapist and trainer with Quantum Life University, founded by Dr. Newton and Dr. Lakshmi Newton. He is also a board member of International Association for the Study of Dreams. He is deeply passionate about teaching, therapy, and helping children and parents build deeper understanding and healing relationships. We are grateful to have him with us today. Thank you, sir. Over to you. We can begin the today's session.
Thank you. Namaste. First of all, my gratitude to Buddha CEO Foundation platform for doing these beautiful Saturday master classes and also inviting me on this platform to share wisdom. So today's topic is conflict resolution, as Simranji already introduced the topic and its significance in today's world. So I will share a little bit about how this topic came to me and how I have been working with the NVC tool for the past few years. So I was introduced to, is the volume enough? Is it good enough? Is it audible? Okay. So I was going through Marshall Rosenberg's teachings, and I was deeply fascinated by this wisdom, non-violent communication. Marshall Rosenberg started teaching this tool. He discovered this tool, non-violent communication, because he was deeply passionate from an young age to understand what is the root cause for conflicts. He grew up in Boston, seeing in those days some communal riots and conflicts between groups and people willing to kill each other. He was like wondering why people kill each other. What could be their um, valid reasons for killing each other? And he also saw people in his own family who were very compassionate and who were living in service of others. And he wanted to understand what makes people live for others and what makes people kill others. And he wanted to dedicate rest of his life to understand this aspect of life. And with that intention, he started his journey and he discovered a beautiful tool um, called nonviolent communication, and he started teaching it across United States. And in those days, he used to sleep on the footpath using a sleeping bag. And he used to go to places and to teach this tool. So his simplicity and his authentic wisdom to discover the root cause for conflicts deeply influenced me, and I started learning this process and also applying it in my own life, in my communications with my children and with my spouse and with my family, with my friends, and also at my workplace. This tool has greatly shifted my um relationships, my understanding of people, and also established a deep empathetic connection with whoever I was interacting with. So I thought of sharing the basics of NVC and how we can apply it in our day-to-day life, especially for resolving any active conflicts in our life. So I would like to start with, okay, I think the voice is slow. Let me try to
Yes, sir, we are
change
just
the
working
settings.
on it.
So is it better now? Because I increased the input
Yes, sir.
volume.
Yes,
Okay,
sir,
thank
better.
you. Good. Thanks for bringing it up. So I want you to think about, so I want to make this an interactive seminar where you are actively using these principles and applying it to a real-time situation in your life. So when I use the word conflict, what comes to your mind immediately? Just think about whether your family life or your home situation comes to your mind, or your workplace comes to your mind, or any other interaction comes to your mind, just give a moment to this word conflict. First, we will deal with the external conflicts. There are also conflicts within us. These are inner conflicts. We can apply and we see tool. Yes, to conflicts with oneself, inner conflict. So you can type in the chat window what kind of a conflict comes to your mind first. Or if you look at nations having conflict, if that comes to your mind, or groups of people comes to your mind. So you can type, just want to appreciate the fact that conflict is so widespread, so enormous, so huge in today's world. Yeah, difference of opinions everywhere, conflict with colleagues in workplace, yeah, and conflict with self. That's correct. There are also if you take the situation of home, okay, conflicts in relationships between partners or between parents and children. This is the most common thing that people come to me with. There is a conflicting situation with my child, or there is a conflicting situation with my wife or husband. How do I resolve this? So I would like to, at this point, share a presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. So conflict resolution through NVC, from blame to understanding. This is the theme. And we will start with this opening reflection. So recall a recent conflict in your life. Okay. So we will go more deeper into this topic, but we will start with any recent conflict that you can recollect in your life, which happened recently. It could be a simple conflict, a small conflict, or it could be a bigger conflict. So when you recall this conflict, I want you to notice three things. Okay. So what happened? It could be the story of the conflict. Like, for example, you didn't like someone's words that they uttered. So that is a conflict. And in this, what happened is someone said something bad to you, or someone did something, some actions which are bad or threatening or causing you hurt. So it could be what happened in that situation. So that is the first thing I want you to think about. And when this thing happened, how did you feel? That's the second component. You felt sad or angry or frustrated, disappointed. Okay, so this is the second part. So the first two components are easy. We can easily reach there. And the heart of NVC is the third component, which we call it as needs. What did you really need in this situation? What did you expect from the other person in this situation? So there is an expectation that is not met. Behind a conflict, there is an expectation that is not met. And behind that, if we look closely into this expectation, there is a need that is not met. So in NVC language, a conflict is defined as originating from an unmet need. Behind every conflict, there is an unmet need. That is a simple definition. Behind every conflict, there is an unmet need. And this definition is so universal, so versatile that you can apply it to any aspect of life, any kind of a conflict, whether it is between nations or whether it is between two people. So when there is a conflicting event or a conflicting situation, there is also a story that we create. So when we talk about this conflict to others, we explain it in a story. So and so thing happened, and they said this, and I felt like this. So this is the story. And usually we mix up so many things in this story. We mix up the actual event. We mix up our feelings, and we also mix up our judgments. This fellow is so bad, he did this to me. How can he say such words to me? I didn't do anything wrong. This is unreasonable. He's so adamant. So these are the words that we use while we describe the story. So there are so many judgments here, and there are many feelings here. So if we pay attention to the story, there is an emotion and there is also a reaction. And if we don't pay attention to it, unconsciously we start reacting, and this escalates into a conflict. So we have certain reactive patterns in our life. Okay. For example, if someone became angry on you, okay, so your typical reaction could be to become closed, to close yourself and withdraw from the situation. Okay. So if this reaction continues, it solidifies and it escalates into a conflict. Okay. So you try to avoid this person. That is a conflict. Or if your typical reaction, you are programmed in such a way that you express your anger and rage when someone said something wrong to you. Okay. And this reaction, when it repeats, it escalates into a conflict with that person. Usually in conflicts, people become disconnected, opinionated, judgmental, and they don't see each other. Sometimes they escalate the conflict into next level where they blame each other, they spread rumors about each other, and they also end up in rivalry, taking revenge. So this is the escalation part, and it depends on how badly we are continuing this loop. So to what level we escalate depends on how we are continuing this loop of creating our story filled with judgments, blame, feelings, and reacting out of that story. So how do we break this cycle, the conflict spiral? So for that, we need to understand the truth. And this is the truth. What we argue about is rarely the real problem. Many people think that the words are the real problem, the behavior is the real problem, the viewpoint is the real problem. No, that is not. That is only the tip of the iceberg. Below the tip of the iceberg, there is the huge iceberg, which is not visible. It is part of the subconscious. And in that bottom part of the iceberg, you have feelings, needs, fears, or value system. So this is where we need to shed our light. We need to carefully understand these aspects, the unseen aspect of a conflict. Okay. So A said some bad words to B and B said some bad words to A. So this is the visible aspect of the conflict. But if you look at below the iceberg, A has certain feelings and B has certain feelings. Okay. And behind those feelings, A has certain unmet needs and B has certain unmet needs. So we need to go to the deeper layers of the conflict to efficiently address it. So Marshall Rosenberg, as I mentioned before, is a huge contribution to humanity, nonviolent communication. So I will introduce this framework. Before that, so this is the definition of criticism. So when we are criticizing someone, or if we are criticizing ourselves, okay, according to Marshall Rosenberg, every criticism is a tragic expression of an unmet need. There is an unmet need inside that other person, and he doesn't know how to express this unmet need. So he is using the language of criticism. So this is a very, very empathetic statement, because here we are trying to understand why the other person is criticizing. We are trying to really make a connection with that other person. When we say this, oh, you blamed me, it means that you have an unmet need within you. I want to only look at that unmet need, not at the blame level. So the communication in NVC happens below the blame level, at the level of needs. So this will be even more clear when I give you some examples. So, but I want to initially help you appreciate the beauty of this tool. Rarely we communicate at the level of needs. We only communicate at the level of words, ideas, thoughts, viewpoints, and sometimes we communicate at the level of feelings. Oh, today I am feeling very sad. Oh, I am very angry with the way this person behaved. So typically in corporates, we don't use the word, we don't use feelings also. It's only at the level of thoughts and words. Even at home, it is very difficult for people. People are not equipped with the skills to express their feelings without hurting others. And that is causing a conflict, and that is causing a conflict that escalates, which beyond a point where it can be repaired. And that is when people come for therapy, counseling. So using this beautiful tool, we can learn this art and we can change the way we communicate with people. It is not just about rearranging the words. And VC is not about that. It is about communicating at the level of needs and feelings. So I will take you through the 4 steps of NVC, which is the heart of this process. At the first step, we have observation. So here we state the problem. This is the problem statement. But we need to be very skillful in objectively stating the problem, not mixing up your judgments, your criticism, your evaluation of the other person, of or the situation. For example, the husband got delayed at work, went home late night, and the wife said, you are irresponsible. Okay. So that is not an observation. It is a judgment. Okay. In this situation, the observation is husband arrived late to home around 10 p.m. That is the observation. And the feeling. Of course, there are certain feelings here. Wife is feeling lonely, or the wife is feeling sad. Wife is feeling bored. It could be anything. Or wife is feeling scared. Wife is feeling I am not important. I don't matter. So when we say I don't matter, we are already entering into the space of needs. So behind this feeling, there is an unmet need. And when husband arrived late to home and the wife is feeling sad and lonely, what is the unmet need in this case? The unmet need of wife here in this case is maybe togetherness or spending time or sharing love or a connection with husband. So that is the unmet need. So once we identify the unmet need, then we make a clear request. It is not a demand, but a request. So in this case, the wife says, the wife now understands that, okay, so there is an unmet need within me. So it is very important to make a clear request to the other person. May I request you to take me to a park this Sunday where we can spend some time together, so that her need is met. But instead of requesting this way, if wife becomes closed and hurt and judgmental, you are irresponsible, you never care for me, you don't love me, then there is a distance between them. And that distance escalates into a conflict. When it is repeated over and over, it escalates into a conflict. So this is the 4-step process. There is an observation without evaluation. You are not evaluating the situation or the other person, but you are only observing the facts, what happened in this situation. And then how are you feeling? What is the feeling in this situation? And what is your unmet need behind this feeling? And how do you make a clear request to the other person? observation, feeling, need, and request. So this is an example about observation. So the definition of observation is observation without evaluation. Okay. If someone says, "You never listen to me," that is a evaluation. It's not observation. Whereas if they say, you looked at your phone 3 times when I am speaking, that is an observation. Because here there is no evaluation. So feelings. So many people, they are not aware of what they are feeling. That is the reason they jump quickly into judgments and criticism, into thoughts. So we are so used to operate from the intellect. We are so used to operate from the realm of thinking. Okay. So that in our conscious mind, there is no space for feelings. We are consciously only preoccupied with thinking, analyzing, okay, and expressing. But the content of our expression is predominantly determined by our feelings, which we rarely pay our attention to. And that is the root cause for conflicts. Lack of awareness of feelings, lack of vocabulary of feelings. So I will take you through some feelings vocabulary. This is very important. For any human being, this is required, I would say, because we are beings of feelings. And our feelings play a very significant role in our communication. The content of your communication, the expression of our communication, and the tone of our communication, they are all determined by our feelings. Okay, so this is the chart of feeling cards from the Center for Nonviolent Communication. So this is a very elaborate list. So we don't have to go through all this, but I will take you through some important aspects of it. So the feelings are classified into 2 categories. When our needs are met, we have positive feelings. When our needs are not met, we have negative feelings. So broadly, they are classified like this. Fearful feelings. Like the first category is afraid. And the second category is annoyed. For example, if we are frustrated. And the third category is angry. And in that category, there are many levels of emotions, more subtler aspects of anger. Rage being the other end, at the extreme side, and just resentful or irritated or outraged. So aversion. So there could be many forms of aversion. Like you can carry some hatred towards other person, some repulsion with other person, or you can feel disgusted about a situation. And sadness, this is very predominant. Anger, fear, and sadness. These 3 are very popular categories. Most of the time, these are the emotions that are triggered when in the context of conflict. And there are several forms of sadness, like hopelessness or despair or feeling depressed, confusion. So there's a lot of confusion. Confusion is also an emotion. Feeling disconnected, feeling indifferent, feeling withdrawn, even numb feeling. When someone feels they're numbed, they are actually disconnected from the situation. So I want to talk about pain. Pain is emotional pain, like deep-rooted grief from loss of someone, or feeling lonely and miserable and devastated. So these are much deeper aspects of pain. And vulnerability, very fragile, insecure, very sensitive, feeling helpless, and feeling tensed. Tensed is also very common. We feel sometimes anxious. Most of the time, there is an anxiety about a situation or about a future situation. So when our needs are not satisfied, we can have this wide variety, a wide spectrum of feelings. This is the vocabulary that we need. It will help us to become aware of what exactly we are feeling. And there are positive feelings when our needs are met, our needs are satisfied. We feel happy, joyful, jubilant, ecstatic. We feel relieved, means we feel calm, still, satisfied. We feel refreshed, restored, rejuvenated, renewed. We feel hopeful. We feel so confident, optimistic. We feel empowered. And inspiration is also a positive feeling. Motivated, full of wonder, peaceful. There are many feelings in peaceful, like calm, quiet, open, relaxed, and grateful, appreciative, thankful, deeply moved, touched. So this is also a wide spectrum of positive feelings. When our needs are met, this is how we feel. So our feelings are broadly positive and negative. Positive feelings are felt when our needs are satisfied. Negative feelings are felt when our needs are not satisfied. So this is the simple classification. So then we need to look at the vocabulary of needs. This is the core of NVC. Needs are very, very natural. All of us have needs, and it is part of human existence. It is part of physical existence. But because our needs are denied as a child, most of our needs, if they are denied, then we develop a feeling, we develop uh, a belief about needs that I do not have right for these things. I should not become needy. Oh, I'm a very needy person. I'm always feeling that I want love or appreciation. And then we become shameful of it. Oh, I'm grown up. Why should I feel this need for acceptance or appreciation? Oh, this is not right. There's something wrong with me. So unconsciously, this happens. We quickly move to the shame but needs are part of life. Needs make us alive. This is part of human experience, a living experience. When we are disconnected from our needs, we are also disconnected from our life. Needs is what makes us alive. So even if this need is unmet, if we can make a connection with it, with the unmet need, we become alive again one more time. So that is the beauty of making a connection with our unmet need, becoming aware of this unmet need. So as human beings, somewhere during our evolution, we lost this connection with needs. A child is very authentic because the child is always in touch with his or her own needs. If that need is not met, they become cranky, they start crying. Babies, they cry if their physical needs for milk is not met, for cleanliness is not met, for warmth and touch, if they are not met, they become cranky and they start crying. So this is an inbuilt mechanism in our human body, human biology. If our need is not met, we express it through some kind of pain or some kind of verbal expression. So it is so important to have a needs vocabulary. Every child, every school should have needs vocabulary as part of their curriculum. And then they will have this sense that, okay, these needs are all valid. It's a valid thing. I need not feel shameful for having this need. So let us go through some of this vocabulary. There are needs of autonomy, like freedom, independence, having our own space, having choices, having human dignity. These are needs of autonomy. And there is need of connection, intimacy, kindness, love, nurturing, empathy, belonging. Belonging is a very, very important need. And when we feel that we belong to a group, we feel very joyful. When this need is met, belonging to the family. And if when someone says you don't belong, then we feel sad. Appreciation, acknowledgement, acceptance. And there is also need for cooperation, which is beautiful. And there are higher needs like meaning. These are the higher needs, what Abraham Maslow calls the self-actualization. We have a need for finding meaning in our life. When to contribute, the need to be needed it's there within us. Otherwise, we feel, oh, I don't matter. Oh, my life has no meaning. Oh, I'm living a very superficial life. I don't get this joy. So the need for presence, purpose, self-expression, creativity, to contribute, taking up challenges, accomplishments. So these are needs of meaning, higher needs. And there are basic needs for physical well-being, which we are very much aware of. Food, water, physical movement, shelter, clothing, exercise, pleasure, including sexual pleasure, sleep, touch, safety, security. And another higher need is play. Children, they are very clear about it. They want to feel excitement, fun, humor, joy. So there is a need to be playful. This is a higher need. And needs for peace, beauty, equality is also a very important need. If you are not treated equal to others, then this need is not met. And we need for inspiration. It is also a higher need. So this is some of the vocabulary we went through, needs, and all these needs are valid. So we will talk about request, how to make a clear request. Once we identified the need, we have to make a clear request. Otherwise, the communication is not completed. Without making a clear request, the communication is not complete. Oh, okay, I have this unmet need. Okay, so better I keep quiet. No. You have all the right to make a request. There is a difference between request and demand. And the difference between request and demand is very subtle. In request, there is no expectation on the outcome. But whereas in a demand, there is an expectation on the outcome. You want a certain outcome, then it is a demand. Usually children don't like demands, but they very well receive requests. So when, especially in conflicts with between parent and child, once I asked parents how to make the clear request, it makes all the difference. 90% of the time children listen and cater to this, but the intention is here entirely different. You don't want to make children listen to you. You want to make a connection with the child. So that is the motive of NVC. NVC is not for meeting your ends. NVC motto is to establish an empathetic connection with the other person. So how a request should be made. Request should always be very specific. It should be made very clear. It should be relevant to the present situation. I will give you some examples on how the request should be. Now we will go through few examples which will make the process of conflict resolution clear to you. So in the first example, partner looking at the phone. Always, let's say, partner is always looking at the phone most of the time. So the person can say this, you never listen to me, you're always on your phone. This is the typical reactive way of communicating. So so this is part of the story. And in story, it is like collection of, it's a bag which has everything, emotion, judgment, criticism, unmet needs, everything is there in this. So let us look deeply into this and see what all are there in this. You never listen to me. There is a judgment in this. There is also an observation. You are always on your phone. Always may not be accurate because the person is not 24 hours on the phone, but there is a generalization because of pain. There is pain in this. And there is a criticism that you are irresponsible. Okay, so and there are feelings in this. The sadness is clearly visible in this. So everything is mixed up in this reactive communication. Whereas in NVC, we divide it into the 4 stages. First is observation. While I was talking about my day, I noticed you looked at your phone several times. So this is actually what happened. Wife is trying to tell about how her day went. Husband came home and wife is telling. And during that time, husband was looking at the phone several times. So this is the observation. And what is the feeling? So when we pay attention to the feeling, then we know, oh, I felt disappointed. I felt disconnected. We saw the feelings vocabulary, the negative feelings when needs are not met. So what is the need that is not met? I want to be heard. I want to tell you something. I want you to hear. I want to be heard. I value presence. Presence is a need. Being heard is a need. So when a person comes in contact with their own unmet needs, something very, very transformative happens. This itself is very therapeutic for the person because they are getting in touch with their life. Because needs are what make us more alive. So the moment the person got in touch with this unmet need of presence and being heard, oh, I want to be heard. It's part of a living experience. It's part of being alive. So we are more connected to life. The moment we say, I want to be heard, I'm not criticizing myself, I'm not labeling myself as overly needy or shameful about this need, but I am valuing life. I want to be heard. I value presence. And then we make a clear request. Would you be willing to keep your phone aside for the next 10 minutes so we can talk? This is so important to make a clear request. And in this, there is no expectation. But still, it is important to state the request. So this is clear. And this is related to the context. Okay. And there is a physical actionable request. Because there is an action that the other person can take when they hear this request. The other person can sit for next 10 minutes without the phone. So all requests should be action oriented. They cannot be vague. There should be a clear action. So let us look at one more example. So these examples will make the process clear to us. A teenager in home is keeping the room very messy. And the parent says like this in this situation, your room is always a disaster. You are so irresponsible. This is very typical way of a parent when they are reacting. When they see the messy room, this is how they react. And again, this is a bag containing all things mixed up. There is a frustration here, feeling of frustration. There is also a judgment that the teenager is irresponsible. There is also a judgment that you will never change. So there are several judgments in this. So, but how to look at this at the 4-step process in NVC? What is the observation? I noticed clothes and books have been on the floor for the last 3 days. This is actually the observation. And when the parent looked at all the clothes and books dispersed on the floor, 3 days, still they are not cleaned up, and the parent felt overwhelmed. That's the feeling. And what is the unmet need behind this? I need order and shared responsibility in our home. So in this moment, the parent got in touch with his own need or her own need. I have a need for order. I have a need for sharing the responsibility. I cannot do all the cleanup always for you. We have to share the responsibility in home. Typically, usually moms, Indian moms especially, they give everything. They take the responsibility of the entire home on their shoulders, and it becomes tiring. And they show the frustration on children. But behind this frustration, there is an unmet need for sharing responsibility. And then once they appreciate their unmet need, make a contact with it, then they should be able to make a clear request to this teenager. Would you be willing to spend 15 minutes today putting everything away? The teenager may immediately say no, but that is okay. You made a genuine attempt to make a connection with this teenager. And that connection is what heals the conflict. So the moment, so every day mom used to say the same thing, you're a disaster, you're so irresponsible, you did this, you don't do this, you're horrible and all that. And suddenly when mom shifts her gears and if she says this clear request, would you be willing to spend 15 minutes today putting everything away? Because I need order and shared responsibility in our home. Because when I noticed all these books for the last 3 days, I really felt overwhelmed. Then there is something deeply touched in that teenager. Then there is a possibility for shift in the teenager. And let us look at an example how we can apply it at workplace. So let's say there is a missed deadline and the team lead said to the team member, you let the whole team down because it's a collective project. So the project deadline is missed. So you let the whole team down. So again, there is judgment here. And there is an emotion here. There is an unmet need here. So if we again look at what is the observation, the report was submitted 2 days after the agreed deadline. This is the observation. Report was supposed to be submitted on 2nd, but you submitted on 4th. Feeling I am concerned. I'm concerned. And there is an unmet need. I need reliability because other project milestones depend on this. I have a need for reliability. So how to make the clear request? Can we discuss what got in the way and agree on a plan to prevent this next time? And when it is communicated this way, it makes it so easy to prevent situations, to prevent conflicts at work. So we will see one last example. This is also related to workplace. For example, there is someone who is interrupted in a meeting. Can you stop interrupting me? This is a typical reactive communication. Can you stop interrupting me? So in NVC style, we first observe. I noticed I was interrupted twice while explaining my proposal. And I felt frustrated. You can express what your feeling is. You are not making other person responsible for it here. I need respect and opportunity to finish my thoughts. Because I want to be respected. I need the space, respect, and need the opportunity to complete the train of thoughts that I'm getting. Would you allow me to complete my point before responding? And there is no demand here. The other person choose not to do this also, which is okay because this is only a request. Then the other person may or may not change, but our objective is not to change the other person. Objective here is to make a genuine connection with the other person and genuine connection with ourselves. So here I will give you an exercise. Let us take any one statement in these 5 and convert these statements into NVC using the 4-step model: observation, feeling, need, and then clear request. So you can take any of these examples. So I want you to take a moment. You can either note it down or you can say it to yourself in your mind. You don't care about this relationship. The 4th one, if you choose that one, you don't care about this relationship. Here there is a judgment that you're careless, and there is a judgment that this relationship is least important to you. And there is a feeling, disappointment. And there is a need for connection, need to share. And the clear request is based on the observation, what happened in the story. Based on that, you can make an observation. You can make a clear request. So take a minute, and I really appreciate if you can first type, if you are taking example of 4, you don't care about this relationship. I want you to finally write the clear request. Or let us first talk about the unmet need. In any of these 5, what is the unmet need? Okay, let us talk about you don't care about this relationship. To make things simple, only take one. You don't care about this relationship. You can type in the chat box. In this situation where you are judging other person, you don't care about this relationship, what is the unmet need? Yeah, not getting proper attention. That's correct. It could be, it is possible. So here we are making a genuine attempt to understand the other person. Genuine attempt to understand ourselves. That is important than accuracy. Okay, anyone else wants to give a try? What is the unmet need? Can we please create time to talk through some of my concerns? Yes. Taking for granted. Okay. Yeah. So this is an attempt to present these ideas, this idea, and we see the framework to you so that you can appreciate its greatness and do some more research and start applying it in your life. So, friends, thank you so much, and we will do a short meditation now. I notice that I am not receiving your attention. Yes, observation. Okay, friends, let us close our eyes. In this meditation, we will make a attempt to get in touch with our life, the needs inside us, needs within us. Relax your body. Pay attention to your breath. Allow yourself to bring your attention to any conflict in your life, any recent conflict in your life. Allow yourself to now remember this situation when you are in the middle of this conflict. What exactly happened during the conflict? You are bringing all your attention to this observation, not judging, not evaluating, but just observing the fact. Now, allow yourself to pay attention to the feelings. How you are feeling when you are in this situation. Acknowledge your own feelings. What is the unmet need behind this feeling? Allow yourself to fully acknowledge this unmet need. Could be need for togetherness, need to belong, need for appreciation, need for connection, need for freedom, need for empathy and love, need to be heard, need to be needed, or need to contribute. Or it could be any physical needs, or it could be any of the needs that we discussed. Acknowledge this need behind the feeling. And tell yourself, this need is valid. This need is what brings me alive. This need is what connects me to life. And allow yourself to feel that connection to your life force. When you embrace the need, you step into your life force. Just stay there. Feeling so alive. Feeling fully present in this aliveness. Fully embracing this part of you which is feeling this unmet need. And telling that part, your need is valid for me. And allow yourself to feel this life force. When you embrace this part, which is carrying this unmet need, you feel more alive. You feel more connected to life. Feel this connection to life. Feel this aliveness in each and every cell of your body. Last 1 minute. Just stay with this aliveness. Stay in your own presence. Stay still. Last 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You can gently place your fingertips on your eyes. Feel the warmth of your fingertips on your eyes. Slowly, slowly come to the present moment experience. Whenever you are ready, you can open your eyes with a smile, feeling alive. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your session was not only insightful, it was practical also for all of us to implement in our lives. Such a deepful insight about the root cause of all conflicts is the unmet need that we are not able to understand. I also liked, how important it is us to understand our feelings, to understand the vocabulary so that we can become more aware about ourselves and a genuine attempt to understand other person and build a connection rather than solving the problem. I have also, took few NVC sessions from Emory University, but this time the way how simplistically you have made us understand NVC from a practical approach is really commendable. So thank you from Buddha CEO for taking your time and introduce us with NVC. Now the floor is open for questions. If somebody has any question, they can either raise their hands or you can also post them in the chat. Kindly raise your hands who wants to ask questions and then we allow you as a panelist to ask. Yes, sir, we have a question in the chat. Sir, you said the purpose is to establish an empathetic connection with the other person. But what if the other person isn't bothered or interested?
Yes, good question. So there are two aspects to NVC. One is expressing, other is listening. Okay. So when the other person, let's say, is angry on you in a situation and he's criticizing you, judging you. Okay. Now, according to NVC, all criticism is a tragic expression of unmet need. So instead of listening to the criticism, you are now listening to his unmet need or her unmet need. And you are guessing that, is this how you are feeling? Is this what you are needing? That is an attempt to make a genuine connection with the other person. Okay. And you could be wrong in guessing when you are trying to guess the other person's feelings and needs, you could be wrong, but you are making a genuine attempt. Okay. And that will open the door for the possibility of a connection with the other person, an empathetic connection. You made your genuine attempt from your side. If the other person is not interested, then it is not your problem. Okay. You made a genuine attempt to resolve the conflict from your side. Usually, when you say these words, and according to Marshall Rosenberg, in his experience, he worked with nations and two groups trying to kill each other. And when one group says these words, oh, is this how you are feeling? Is this what you are needing? Even in that situation where people are killing each other, they are willing to listen, willing to make a connection. It usually works that way. Okay. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Tej, for asking this question, and thank you, sir. I believe that NVC is a great tool for all of us to, to build more need of companionship and to live empathetically and compassionately. I think Shalini have a question. Yes, you may speak. Okay, so if we do not have any further questions, then we can wind up the session. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, Shalini.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, yes, please, please.
In response to when we ask, if there is any unmet need that the other person is feeling, and the other person responds a familiar thing that, I may be doing. How do I respond by saying, well, I understand these needs and I have been doing, it's just that it's not been seen in that light, that maybe my efforts are not being seen in or appreciated in that light. I don't know how to put that across. Sometimes people think that we are doing less, but we are doing exactly what the other person expressed as a need, but maybe unable to see it.
Yeah. So in NVC, we are not trying to solve the other person's problem. Okay. Here we are only trying to make an empathetic connection with the other person by not listening to their judgments, but listening much more deeply to their unmet needs and by acknowledging their unmet need. Let's say in this situation, the person is expecting something from, in this situation, something from you. And the objective is not to cater to their need immediately. Okay, it may happen eventually, but here the objective is to listen to what their unmet need is. Maybe they are feeling unloved, for example. Maybe they are feeling unacknowledged. Maybe they are feeling a need for genuine connection or empathy or understanding, or there is a need to be heard. And when we listen to that need, that brings a shift in this communication between the two parties. So, and when that is a ground on which this relationship can further be nurtured. And it is not just that a solution for all problems. Instantly, it may not be resolved, but it will set up a context for establishing the resolution moving forward. So does that answer your question, Shalini ji? Okay.
Sir, we do have one more question from
Okay.
Amit Singh. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yeah, brother, thank you very much for a very good presentation. I just wanted to quickly ask you, Tony Robbins has categorized, there is always a big list of emotions. So he says there are broadly all these 30, 60, 100, 200 emotions can be categorized into only five set of emotions or five types of emotions. And five types of emotions are sad, mad, angry, sexual arousal, or happy. All these 60 or 100 can be categorized into all five. Now, if 100 emotions can be categorized into a five, then it will be easy to identify which of the type I am into. If a person, for example, able to find with awareness which type is I belongs to, then is it the emotion which a person is forming is the habit, all emotions are habit or all emotions are not the habit?
Okay. So there are different categories of emotions, and there is beautiful research done on categorizing these emotions, and there are different theories. For example, one is Sylvan Tompkins' affect theory. It talks about affect, which is much more primitive than an emotion, um, like startle, anger, um, um, fear, disgust, shame. So when one of these basic effects, or you in your case you call them as the five categories. Okay, in a situation, the first effect or the instant effect that one is felt could be one of these five, and then there will be secondary feelings, secondary effects, secondary emotions that are um, triggered in the same situation. So an emotion is a complete set of all these: the memory, the primary emotion, and then the secondary feelings, which are in turn triggered from the primary emotion. So that is the reason we need a much more wider vocabulary of the feelings and emotions, so that we can acknowledge them as valid and also go deeper into the unmet need behind those. Okay, so the most important aspect here, whether we use Sylvan Tompkins or the classification that you mentioned, or the NVC list, the idea here is to develop the vocabulary of feelings and emotions so that we genuinely acknowledge them when we feel them, not become more conscious of them, so that we can also go inside to the deeper layer of needs, and also have the vocabulary of needs to get in touch with our unmet needs. So that is the whole idea of showing the wide range of feelings and emotions in the chart.
Okay, thank you. I got your point, brother. Just a quick one. I think one person has asked the question that one brother or sister someone has asked, if the other person is not able to change, then can you reiterate the action plan, what the person should do, and how to communicate non-verbally so that conflict resolution, XYZ, who is the part of, can get out of it very smoothly?
So NVC doesn't mean that you take what everyone is throwing on you. Okay, it is trying to genuinely listen to the unmet needs of the other person, and also genuinely expressing your own feelings, your own unmet needs, and your own clear requests. Okay, and if the other person is trying to violate or the boundaries or being disrespectful, then you establish your own boundaries clearly. Okay. So that is within the purview of NVC, that you don't let other person violate your boundaries, take advantage of you. You clearly define your own boundaries by making a clear request, and it is up to them to whether they want to establish a genuine connection with you or not. But you define the boundaries, you define that this is how it should be, otherwise there is no communication.
Yeah, I got a point, brother. So in any conflict, when two persons are involved, both are contributor of, let's say, 50-50%. That's the usual definition of conflict. If any conflict, in a reasonable, respectable definition of conflict, we can say if the conflict exists between X and Y, both are contributor to 50-50%. Now, if X identifies I am the contributor of 50% of the conflict, I want to get out of it.
Yes.
I want to get out of it. I don't want to continue with this conflict. So this is the way I think what you suggested, brother.
Yeah, so there is X and Y in your example. So X is also contributing, Y is also contributing to the conflict. So in the traditional approach, what we do is, okay, what is wrong with me? What is it that I'm contributing that I can change? So instead of thinking that way, there is a self-judgment here, self-criticism here. But here in NVC process, we are not criticizing ourselves or judging ourselves, or we are not diagnosing ourselves. Typically, our mind goes into self-diagnosis. Okay, what is my contribution here to the conflict? So, but in NVC, there is no self-diagnosis. There is no self-evaluation. Okay, in the X will listen to their own unmet needs from where they are contributing to this conflict. Because behind every conflict, there is an unmet need. And they also listen to Y's unmet needs. So there is a now communication happening at the level of needs, which is much more fruitful, much more productive, much more empathetic in nature. And there are more chances that this empathetic connection will eventually resolve the conflict than versus taking the approach of self-diagnosis and diagnosing the other person and trying to morally correct ourselves and trying to morally convey what other person needs to change in themselves.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. What you are saying, absolutely true. I think it's not about who is right, who is wrong. It is
Yes,
about finding the right solution. It is not
exactly.
the question who is winning, who is losing. It's not the question
Yeah.
who is getting respect, who is not getting the respect. It is only question finding the right solution between X and Y so that they can reconcile, or if they don't reconcile, at least they move out of this conflict as sooner. So I got your point, brother. Thank you very much. I understood fully. Thank you very, very much for this crispy and very good presentation. I like it, and I have been attending many Buddha CEOs talks. This is one of the best which I have attended. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Amitji. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we will wrap today's master class. There's a lot of deeper intricacies in NVC, for example, observation without evaluation or having specific and action-oriented requests. So you have given us a lot to reflect on, and I'm sure every one of us who is present in this meeting is going to take away something meaningful in our lives. Uh, Please continue practicing your meditation and we'll see you next Saturday. Thank you so much, Kiran sir. Thank you, Pooja. And thank you everyone for being a part of today's session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Simran. Thank you, everyone.
I promise in this moment to keep my heart wide open. With every breath I take, I'm grateful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Simran.
I promise
Thank you, everyone.
this moment.
Thank you, Anjali. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Kiran sir.
With every
Thank you.
breath I take, I'm grateful.
We'll close it. Thank you.